Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator with Hangar Control and GlassOut. And today we are looking at something that genuinely solves more than one annoying problems in flight simulation. For years, touchscreens and tablets have been useful in this sim, but they've also been kind of limited. You could use them for extra displays, you could pop panels out, you could maybe use a separate app, but there was always some catch. Either you were dealing with pop-out windows, performance hit, focus issues, weird touchscreen behavior, or you had a beautiful instrument screen sitting in front of you that you still couldn't really interact with the way you wanted. This is where this gets interesting for us. GlassOut by Flying Art already does something super cool. It takes your Microsoft Flight Simulator instrument displays and streams them out to another device, whether that's a tablet, touchscreen, phone, second monitor, or a full cockpit build. No manual pop-outs, no dragging windows around, no messing with the usual pan-out, pop-out workflow. But now, Hangar Control is stepping into that same space and adding the missing piece, the control aspect. So instead of just looking at streamed PFD or MFD or GPS, radio, avionics screens, whatever it may be, you can now start layering Hangar Control touch controls directly over the top of the GlassOut panels. Buttons, sliders, switches, altitude controls, heading controls, autopilot functions, and custom actions, whatever makes sense for your particular setup. That turns a touchscreen from just another display into actual cockpit interfaces. So yeah, the easiest way to describe this is GlassOut and Hangar Control had a baby, and that baby might be one of the most useful touchscreen workflows we've ever had for Microsoft Flight Simulator so far. Let's get into it. One app designed to do it all. Hangar Control brings everything together: control bindings, hardware configuration, mod and profile management, application launching, add-ons, config files, and more, all managed from a single application. Mods Hangar goes beyond just mods and add-ons. It manages profiles, config files, text files, backups, snapshots, and helps keep your community folders clean and organized. Application Hangar launches your entire sim stack with a single click. Your Stream Decks are fully controlled through the Hangar Control plugin, while all of your other Stream Deck plugins remain active and available. Built by a simmer for simmers, Hangar Control adds new features and hardware support every week based on community feedback. It's a one-time purchase with lifetime updates, no subscriptions. You can try it for free for 5 days with no restrictions at overkillsimulations.com. Just create an account, head to your account page, download the latest version, and get started. And if you're looking for in-depth Microsoft Flight Simulator aircraft tutorials, check out my Patreon site. Links to Hangar Control and Patreon are down in the description below. Okay, so folks, right out of the gate, I want to start by saying, first, this feature is releasing for Hangar Control tomorrow, June the 5th of 2026. It will be Friday evening, Pacific Standard Time is when this feature will release with the next update of Hangar Control. The second thing that is a must, both GlassOut and Hangar Control must be active. GlassOut is required for this. I want to make sure that is perfectly clear. We were working on something similar here for Hangar Control that GlassOut did, but you know what? He beat us to it. He knocked it out of the park, and it's absolutely fantastic. So as far as replicating the same behavior in Hangar Control, we're just not going to do it. That project is dead for now. There's other things we can work on, and why break a working wheel? I do want to also emphasize that GlassOut, as you guys can see in the screenshot here, is currently in beta, but it is absolutely fantastic. This thing is incredible. A real quick recap of what GlassOut does. GlassOut creates this panel here, which is essentially the server. Okay, it then reads what aircraft you're currently in and gives you access to the various displays by going to your profiles or going to the Discover page, and you can see you can either copy the URL or you can directly open the panel up. Okay, so you can do that without any interaction. Now, a device like the electronic flight bag that already has touch capability and commands, it works just as it is, no need. If you want to use this on a mobile device, you need to go to either the Android or the Apple store and look for GlassOut. GlassOut server here local on the computer must be installed, no ands, if, or buts, and obviously you must purchase GlassOut. Okay, so just want to make sure that those requirements are set and prerequisites are set and expectations are set right out of the gate. So where does Hangar Control come into this? Well, as you guys can see here, for example, here we have the G1000 and the working title, the PFD or MFD, excuse me, and the PFD is where I meant to go with that. Sorry, I'm really excited about this. This turned out way cooler than I was anticipating, and because of the developer of GlassOut's amazing documentation that he made available to everybody, this came together very, very fast too. Like, I'm just blown away. Anyway, let me get back on track. We can see that, for example, we have the MFD and we have the PFD, but that's all you get when you do the pop-out. Let me open one of these and you guys can see what I'm talking about. So here it is, okay? Now you can see I can't interact with anything though, okay? Now if I come down here to the cockpit, you can, right? And then if we go back to GlassOut, oh, where'd that panel go? I lost the panel. Where did the panel go? Uh-oh. I lost it, Captain. Where did it go? That's kind of concerning. Well, I don't know if it's still out there somewhere, so I'll tell you what. I'm going to close that. We're going to relaunch it. Again, it's a beta. No knocking him. But let's just do that so that way I know that it's not duplicating itself 219 times. So anyways, you guys saw what the situation there was. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to use this with Hangar Control, where Hangar Control will do the same thing, take advantage of the pop-out, as well as be able to add a control input layer with a bunch of different options. So let's get going. All right, so my first step here is I'm going to show you guys how to build it. And then using our droid cam here and our iPad, I will show you guys how to use it. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off for now because we don't need that for this moment. So first we want to go into our control bindings here in Hangar Control. Make sure that our service is started, otherwise any of the inputs won't work. Then we want to go just to our touch panel. Okay, so here is the one that I've already built before. This is our autopilot panel, right? And the various controls that we had before, our transponder, yada, yada. So we're going to go over here to panel 2. This is a blank panel that I've created, and let's just start right out of the gate. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to add the G1000, whether it be the PFD, MFD. In our case, we'll start with the PFD. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to simply go to Add Web View, okay? We're going to open that up, we're going to double click it, and you can see that there is a GlassOut connection already there. Now, as long as GlassOut is running, you should be able to just go GlassOut, okay? This is going to take your local IP address, or it's called local host is what this is. Now, it's very important to listen to this next piece. If you are using this on mobile devices, anything that is not physically connected to your computer, you need to change this to your computer's actual IP. So in my case, I'm going to back this out, and we're going to change it to 192.168.0.245. For anyone who does not know how to acquire this local IP, what you can do is open up a command prompt and type the letters IPCONFIG. And excuse me, it's /, right? Let me just do it. Now I'm tripping myself out here. You would think that I would know this off the top of my head. I do it all the time. A Windows PowerShell word. I'm sorry, you don't need a slash. Just IPCONFIG. All one word. IP config, and you will be looking for one that says IPv4 address. Okay, that's what you'll be looking for. And again, you can do that in either PowerShell or command prompt. It does not matter which. All right, so then we're going to hit connect, and look what we got. We already have what GlassOut is doing up here. Now we're going to leave GlassOut just off to the side here, and let's start, as I said, with our PFD, and we're going to click use panel. Now, for right now, we're just going to hit save. And look what we got here. Now, leave yourself a little bezel, right? Just around the edges here, especially for rounded screens, cell phones, tablets. You want to leave yourself just a little bit of a threshold there. But if you want, you can go full bore, right? Excuse me, I'm so sorry. So, now when we open our browser, for our touch panel, there we go. Full bore, guys. Full bore, right? And again, we'll get to the iPad in a second. I'm just showing you the functionality. So now let's talk about how to manipulate our buttons, okay? And this is where this gets fun and you can get super creative with this. I have a feeling the most common one is going to be sliders, and we'll get to that, but let's start with a button. What I recommend doing before you just start dropping buttons on here, you could technically click in here, add a button. I don't recommend doing that. Keep your layers separate. So let's come right over here to this plus sign and hit add layer. And make sure that layer 2 is in orange, and then we can just right click and add button. So first, let's just start, I don't know, let's go with our transponder, okay? So what you want to do is you want to count the soft keys, okay? So down here, if you watch the mouse, this is going to be 1, obviously counting forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is what I believe it is, and you can do it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oop, it was number 8. So then we're going to come in here, and this is one that gets people a lot, so I want you guys to watch this, what command we use. We're going to come in here to single action. Action type is going to be a SimConnect event. We're going to browse. And then what we're going to be looking for is you want AS1000. Don't ask me why, but on the Cessna 172, it's what it is. And you want to make sure it's PFD. But you need to make sure you have the one that says set. The set will trigger the same way a toggle does. So, I mean, you see it says toggle down here. You don't need to do that. Just the set will work fine. Okay, so we want that one. Okay, now the next thing that we can do, right, is we can also, let's move this off the screen so we can see it. Obviously, we don't want any of that, right? If we want, oh, you know what though? I just realized we wanted what, number 8? Is that right? I think it was 8 that we wanted. It already says transponder on it, so we don't want it to say anything. We don't want anything here. Now you can set this up however the hell you want, guys. Heading set, maybe it's an altitude, maybe you want your autopilot modes up here or going down the side or something. You can do this however you want. Okay, but what I'm going to do here for this case is we're going to overlay it right on top of that transponder button. So what I want to do is I want to clear the text. I don't want any text. Then what we're going to do is we're going to find the background for the button, which is going to be right in here. We're going to come in here and we're going to hit transparent. Now, I know you guys can still see right here that it's not transparent. I did that. I'm going to do probably just an orange highlight, but it requires me to adjust the coding and all that jazz. But I promise when you guys see it on the display, it will not be. Okay, you won't be able to see this button. So what we want to do, we're going to hit save. And we're going to sort of match this up as close as we can. We can drop it right down in here. Get our handlebars. There's 1. There's 2. Doesn't have to be perfect, right? But now we hit save. I'm going to close this for just a minute. Let's get Hangar Control out of our darn way. I'm going to open our browser back up. Oops, I guess I need the touch panel for that. Open the browser. And again, you guys will see all of this in just a minute. Now, how the panels work, remember this is the first panel I showed you? How the panels work is they will automatically go in sequence by this number right here. So you can see that this says 160, we want 161. We're going to hit enter. Okay, now when we click right here on our transponder, you can see we went to the transponder screen. Now, the reason why that went away like that, I'm going to show you guys real quick too. The reason why it just disappeared on us, that actually wasn't a bad thing. It's what we wanted to happen. Okay, is because if we go back to Hangar Control, and I go to Touch Panel 2, oh, you know what? Actually, I think GlassOut did that, where it refocused the simulator. But anyway, long story short, that's what happened. It refocused the sim. So how we do that from Hangar Control is we come in here. I'm not quite sure now why. Now I'm tripping myself out. Why did it do that? But that's okay. Because it's still, and if we go back to this here, that would be number 8, right? Or 7, I guess, is what it did. Okay, and we can hit back. Now, you guys got the gist there from that part. Okay? Now let me show you how we would do that from the iPad now that we're starting to take advantage of some of this. All right, let me show you how flawlessly that works. So we're going to go back to our droid cam. And hopefully you guys can still hear me. I'm a little farther away from my microphone now. And now we're going to find just a browser, right? So any browser, let's find, where's Safari? You would think after as long as I've been using Apple now that I'd feel more comfortable with it, but I don't. I still get lost all the damn time. Where is it? Oh, jeez. Okay, and so let's just stop that. And we're gonna delete that, and we want 192. Remember I said that IP address, .168. And for me, it's going to be .0.245. And then we're going to need a colon. The purpose of the colon is called the port. So think of the IP address as where you want to go, and the port is what road do you want to take to get to it. Is the easiest way to sort of put that into terms that hopefully make sense to everyone. There's our colon, and it's 8787 for what we are doing. And we're going to hit go. Okay, so I'm mental, and I literally just got done telling you guys what it is, but it actually tells you right here where we need to go. 19861. 8787, that was specifically for GlassOut. So, I'm sorry, we want, again, it tells you right up at the top of there what that is, 19861. And look what we got here. Now, once again, if we come to the transponder, look at that. How about that? Okay, so we had our browser up there, and actually, what's funny enough is it is refocusing automatically back to the simulator. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, if we go to our GlassOut settings, just to confirm, let's turn the always on top on for now. Don't focus pop-out windows. So when we click on a pop-out window, it looks like it automatically focuses back to the sim. So that's exactly what was causing that. Cool, which is by design. So now let's start showing you guys how to do some really fun stuff with this. So let's get rid of this for just a moment. And I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do next. This part gets pretty cool. So I'm going to make this window a bit larger so everyone can see a bit better. There we go. And let's have some fun. So I'm going to do my best to sort of show a couple of different options. You guys have seen how the buttons work. Okay, so now when it comes to the buttons, let's go back over here to layer 2. Okay, we know that, and you can see it's right there. Okay, we can click on that. We know that we can draw a blank button. We know that we can put a label on it. You can put a background on it. Hell, you can even use an icon with it if you wanted to. But let's do something a little bit more fun. Let's talk about things like maybe you want to manipulate your heading or your course. So what we're going to do with this one here is we're going to add a slider. Okay, now the slider, same thing. You have various different options. You can set the zone size. Wherever this thing is, that's going to be your zone. So I'm going to make it pretty large, sort of sitting over this like so. And you can see, if we go back to the touch panel, you can see it's right there. Now this is an actual standard slider, a 0 to 0 axis point, right? But let me show you what we're going to do here. So we're going to double click here. Oh, let me hide OBS again. Well, here, let's do this maybe. I know that's a little shy there, but we'll bring it back out. So we have a couple of different options. You have slider and track handle, just the zone or a highlighted region. So if we click on that, for example, and go and save. Okay, bring this back out. You can see what it did here. And again, you can remove the label, so there's nothing there. So the idea behind this would be is if you wanted just something like that sat over here, right? Something that was out of the way, and you'll understand its purpose in just a minute, okay? You could have maybe a stack of them right here. I mean, that would cover your alerts, but you get the idea. Okay, that's the idea of having it like this. Or if, again, if you wanted an actual label, you could do that. So we're going to bring that back up to where it is. Come back in here. Now what I want here is I want completely hidden, right? We don't want to touch. Now, each pixel that you touch, how many steps will it take is what this increases. I'm going to leave it at the default. Okay? Now, this is where this gets fun. Increase, decrease, left or down, right and up. We're going to hit set. Click Sim Connect event, and let's have some fun. Heading bug increase, and on the decrease, let's do Sim Connect again. Heading bug decrease. Okay. Now, the other thing that we want, we've already got the invisible touch zone, so when I hit save, it's gone. But let's bring this back out like so. When I take my finner, notice the heading bug. And you guys may be seeing a little bit of a lag. That's just going from camera to PC, etc., right? And then if you take it and pull it, you can really pull it all the way over. You can also go faster, and it has a minor acceleration to it. And again, you can change that by that pixel density that we were talking about earlier. And then again, you can bring it right back around. Okay, and that will control that. And we can do the same thing. Let's do one more for our altitude target maybe. Okay, so we're going to come in here. Let's add another one. So we're going to do add slider. And this one we're going to go vertically, right? So let's bring it like right here. Okay. And again, let's bring up our config menu. You guys can still see all that. That's good. And just like before, I want it hidden. And maybe bring, well, actually for altitude, we're probably going to leave that right where it is now that I'm thinking about it. But let's go in here and go Sim Connect. And this time we're going to do autopilot, altitude, var. And we want increase for up. And we're just going to copy this one this time. Still need to hit Sim Connect. Oh, I guess that didn't make sense, right? For down, and that is... Now we did want... did I get everything? Oh, there we go. Vertical alignment. So we're going to be doing up and down. And save. And when we come back over here, my hand's going to be in the way for a second. See if I can get my fat thumb out of there. So if anything, we'd probably want to tone that down. That was pretty responsive. So let's come back in here into our slider. And let's take this down to like 10. So far more touchy, but now let's do this. I just realized what I was doing there, and I'm sorry. We wanted to go the other direction. This is the number of pixels per step, or to initiate a step. So I actually just made that more fine. So let's go up the other way. Let's do like 80. Okay. And then, so that's probably way too low. But you guys get the idea. You can really play with that. Okay? Really have a lot of fun with this. And it's all hidden. Okay? And the last thing that I wanted to show you guys that was really cool because of all of this is when you get to the point where, let's say, you wanted to build out all of your CDI or all of your soft keys, your heading bugs, your course, you know, I mean, the next thing that I'm going to be adding, it's going to take another few days, so it's not going to be in tomorrow's release, is a target option where you could create one slider, essentially move it here, and then what will happen is you can create target zones for the slider. So for example, if I want to adjust my heading, I'd create a target zone here where I tap it and then I would slide it, and that would move the heading. And then if I wanted to adjust my altitude, I could maybe make the target zone the altitude tape, right? And then come back down and slide it. So that's coming next week, all right? It's not going to be in tomorrow's release, but that's the next battle plan. But the next thing that we add is a way to change pages. Okay, so we're going to add a button. And we can, again, this can be transparent. You don't have to have the word button in it. We can do whatever we want. But what we want to do is, sorry, probably should keep talking at some point, huh? Is next panel or previous panel. So in our case, we're going to want previous panel because we're technically on panel 2. I'm going to throw this like right up here. Okay, just as an example, I'm going to go boop. Let's try that again. Give it a tap. Boom, you can see we switch now over to the other panel, and I've already got a hidden one created over here, and we're back to where we want to go. Now, the other really cool thing is you can actually break this up however you wanted to. If we go back into that button configuration, oops, wrong page. Always got to make sure you're on the right layer. There we go. Is you can come down here and you have go to panel, which you can also use to set a direct panel. So if you want to have like a menu layout or a touch area that had panel 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe you had multiple, maybe you want an EFB button here where you just tap it and boom, the FB pop up, whatever it may be, you can also do that as well. Instead of cycling through the different panels, you can actually go directly to one. So really, really cool stuff. Gives you a lot of different options here, guys. I hope you guys are excited for this feature. I am just blown away by this. I love it. I think it is so much fun, and I think you guys are going to have a great time pulling this stuff together. I also want to touch on this, guys. If you're still around, hopefully for this part of the video, I can't stress it, touch panels are not the price they used to be. They touch screens for your computers. They have USB touch screens now. You don't even need an HDMI port half the time anymore. And you know, some of them will run at 30 and 60 FPS, and you don't need a lot for something like this. And so if you don't want to use your tablet, you don't have to. You can pick them up on Amazon. They have them, a lot of these, in these like leather folding cases, so that way when you're not using it, you simply fold it up and set it off like you would something on your bookshelf. I mean, you can literally put it on a bookshelf and put it away when you're done with it. So there's a lot of really cool touchscreen options out there that I really recommend you guys look at. For any of you guys who are like me and like the DIY thing, I highly recommend looking into, if you have a 3D printer, you can look into screens where it's literally just the screen. The circuit board's exposed, everything, but the screens are out of the box working. They have 7-inch, 10-inch, and up, and then you can make your own bezels around them if you wanted to as well. A lot of really different options out there, guys. Really recommend it. It will be a super way, a fantastic way to expand your flight simulation setup. But anyways, guys, as always, folks, stay safe and healthy. If you're interested in trying hangar control, go to overkillsimulations.com, and I'll see you in the next one.